The campaign season is here, and your vote can make a difference. Comcast brings you the candidates on demand right now.
I'm Jill Horner, and this is Candidates on Demand. With me this hour is Dale Gladding, the Republican candidate for the 1st Congressional District. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Talk to us a little bit about the 1st District and the area that you want to represent.
Well, it's almost all of Camden County, with the exception of Cherry Hill and Waterford Township, about 60% of Gloucester Township, or Gloucester County rather, and 3 towns in Burlington, Mapleshade, Palmyra, and Riverton.
So that's the geographic area, but talk to us about some of the reasons that you decided to run.
I tell people I'm running for 3 reasons, and their names are Bethany, Matthew, and Christopher. I have 3 children. Their ages 23, 21, and 19. As American citizens, they owe $175,000 in federal debt, and I think that's immoral. And I want to do something about it. I want to pass down to my children a better America than what I inherited from my father, a World War II veteran who was part of the greatest generation. I think, Jill, my generation has kind of dropped the baton. We've dropped the ball, and we're spending money that we don't have, we're spending money our children don't have, and we're starting to spend money that our grandchildren don't have.
So let's get into some of the specific things that you think need to be done in order to control spending and reduce the national debt. What are the steps that need to be taken in order to achieve those goals?
Well, I'm a smaller government, lower taxes, family values candidate. And basically, I believe you have to run the federal government the way you do a private business or the way you run your own household. You can't spend more money than what you bring in. We don't have a revenue problem here in America. We have a spending problem. I believe that we should have a balanced budget amendment. I support Reverend Mike Pence's proposal to limit federal spending to 20% of the GDP. We basically have to stop borrowing money from foreign countries. We owe $800 billion to communist China. We can't spend money that we don't have, and it puts us not only in a precarious economic situation, but in a national security situation that's very dangerous to our kids.
In addition to working to reduce spending, one of your priorities, you say, is to work to create jobs. Are there specific steps that can be taken in order to create jobs here in the 1st District?
Absolutely. I mean, the United States has the 2nd highest corporate tax rate in the world. And that's why we're losing jobs. That's why we're losing business overseas. That's why corporations are outsourcing. We need to lower the corporate tax rate, and we need to lower the tax rate for all Americans. We need to make the Bush tax cuts permanent. We need to permanently end the death tax. I think that's one of the most immoral things that the United States government does. We tax you when you're alive, and then we tax you when you're dead. We need to just allow people who are hardworking folks, particularly in the 1st District, to keep more of their own money. I mean, you work hard for your money, I work hard for my money. We know how to earn it. We also know how best to spend it. We know best how to invest it. And if we can keep money in taxpayers' pockets so that they can spend it, invest it, save it, do what they will, particularly with businesses. Small businesses create about 80% of all new jobs in America. And between the excessive regulation we have and dipping into their pockets, they can no longer expand. They can no longer take chances. They can no longer hire additional folks. I mean, I run a nonprofit organization where for the first time in 23 years we had to lay off somebody. We also had 2 people that retired that were not in a position to fill their positions. And that's happening across the 1st Congressional District. We have to get government spending under control and stop spending, stop borrowing, and use common sense, use real business sense. And
now you mentioned that you do run a nonprofit organization. Talk to us a little bit about that and how you would hope to use your background as a prison minister in going to Washington.
Well, actually, a lot of people tell me having spent 23 years in prison ministry is a great experience for going down to Washington because I know how to deal with crooks. And that's really not just a punchline. We have too many career politicians down in Washington, folks that have been down there for 20, 30, 40, sometimes 60 years. Every 2 weeks, the 11 employees that work for my organization get a paycheck, and my name is on it. I have to balance a budget. We have about a $700,000 budget. We have a national headquarters in Morristown. We have branch offices in Colorado Springs, Charlotte, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia. We're opening a new one in Macon, Georgia. I understand what it's like to have to manage resources, and our organization, basically, Jill, we reduce recidivism rates. We have a 5% recidivism rate with our program compared to the national average of 75%. So for the last 23 years, we've been saving New Jersey's taxpayers millions of dollars.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
We've been talking with Dale Gladding, the Republican candidate for the 1st Congressional District. I'm Jill Horner.